Meghan Markle's slapdash approach torn apart as she's urged to learn from Princess Kate. Oh, you mean Catherine, Princess of Wales. There is one key reason why the Duchess of Sussex's businesses have failed, according to a brand expert. Well, I am curious to see what they say. In the last few years, Meghan Markle has launched a number of different ventures, but according to a leading brand expert, there is one mistake she keeps making, which is key to why so many of her projects have failed. Ever since she and Harry stepped back from their senior royal roles 5 years ago, the Duchess of Sussex has tried her hand at everything from podcasting, philanthropy, and fashion to working in TV production and using her platform to become a lifestyle influencer. It is this quickly changing and unsettled approach which has led to little long-term success for Meghan. This becomes even clearer when you contrast her tactic to one favored by the Princess of Wales. Speaking to The Sun about Meghan's slapdash approach, brand and culture expert Nick Eade says, Meghan hasn't really earned her stripes yet. She's not the fashionista yet, she's not the cook yet, she's not the makeup expert yet, nothing feels particularly rounded in actual knowledge, so people begin to turn off. We've been on this journey with Harry and Meghan, but when we get to the crux of it, it never goes anywhere. Everything feels like a scattergun approach. Nothing seems thought out or strategized. She and Harry seem to think, yes, I'll take the money and work out what to do afterwards. I agree, and this is something that we have talked about before. Nobody can be an expert in everything, and that's okay. But also, each one of the things that Meghan has tried her hand at and tried to do are actual careers that people dedicate full-time effort to and then some. To get really good at anything takes a lot of practice. There's that, 10,000 hours or 1,000 hours rule that you have to put in 10,000 hours at something to really become good at it. So if you want to get good at speaking a second language or playing an instrument or a sport or whatever, you have to practice it for 10,000, I think it's 10,000 hours before you're considered really good at it. And Meghan and Harry behave as though they are the best at everything that they try, but yet it's clear that they're putting in minimal effort. And this was her problem right from the start with the royals. She apparently refused to read the briefs, and so she would show up at things and not really know what was happening and not really know what people were doing and didn't really have any good questions to ask them or talking points to fill the awkward silence, and it all just came off really weird. And it's clear she and Harry still do this because when they go around and do things, whether it's a panel or a publicized vacation or an interview, they always circle back to just talking about themselves instead of being able to talk about these issues in an intelligent manner that they claim to support. They're always just delivering nonsense, and it feels like they come up with one or two good sound bites and then they're just like, cool, we're done. We'll say that. People will be so impressed by our existence and this sound bite we came up with that nothing else matters. But it turns out much more actually does matter. Having a degree of knowledge and practice about anything really does give more merit, more substance, and more of an authentic point of view to whatever subject matter it is. So for example, when Meghan published The Bench, it was horrible. It was a bad idea to publish a poem written for a grown man as a kid's book. That doesn't even make sense because the audience was not a child. And so how is a child going to be really entertained by it? But also, writers and authors of books dedicate so much time and practice writing all the time. If you want to get good at writing, one of the best pieces of advice is to write something every single day, whether you're writing just a random prompt or a journal or a little poem or whatever, or working on a project or a book. You have to write something daily, even when you don't have a project that you're doing for profit. You're not actively writing a book or actively writing an article. It's still important to write daily so that you have that practice. Because without it, then your writing will just have a lot of lost potential. And the more you practice, the better you get. And Meghan and Harry are clearly not practiced at any of the stuff that they're doing. And The Bench proved it, and all their other endeavors have proven it too. And With Love, Meghan might just be the perfect case study in an amateur trying to do something that they're way out of their depth on. Meghan, as a producer even, couldn't handle it. And she was never a producer before, she was just an actress. And just because you've been on a set doesn't mean you can produce a show. There was so much about it that was unorganized and illogical and useless that a normal producer would have caught. But Meghan, because she was producing her own show, didn't even think about it. And that lack of practice and lack of expertise really came through and made it suck as a series. Compare this to the Princess of Wales, and her success is clearly down to one difference. While the princess has been shy at times and certainly began her royal journey in Prince William's shadow, or rather a supporting and learning role, which made sense, she has placed a steely focus on only supporting a handful of charities and building up an expertise in early years development, which is one of my favorite things about her. As a result, she's become a well-respected expert who is looked up to for the real passion and graft that has gone into making a real change in this area, and bringing awareness to it, too. She's also well-placed to navigate any difficulties her children come up against, and previously described her passion for early childhood as her life's work when she launched her program, Shaping Us, 2 years ago. It is a tactic which led former BBC royal correspondent Jenny Bond to tell OK that she has learned the craft of being royal over a number of years and earned her place as a senior member of the family. Gradually, she has also earned the respect of the public and, I believe, of the rest of the family. We look at her now not just as William's wife, but as our future queen, which I agree with. It is down to her taking the time to really learn about early years development and what can be done culturally to help out, and what sorts of changes need to be made and what sorts of things are going to be the most impactful, because she has helped fund research and brought in expert panels to use that research to come up with recommendations that can be implemented to help people with their children's early years development more as like a community approach. And I think that's wonderful. And I've always been very pleased with Catherine's work with the early years, and her research with the early years is something that I was also interested in. And so when she started doing it and I started looking at it, it's all on track. You know what I mean? She is right. Her research and the suggestions that she and her team have made and the project itself is the exact right thing that needs to be done. And it takes a real understanding of it all. And this is something that Meghan and Harry just don't do and just don't have. They just say random things that then can be undermined or criticized or make themselves look foolish like they're not experts. And what happens over the long term then is that nobody wants to listen to you. Nobody wants your message to be highlighted. No other charities or reputable organizations want you to participate because you keep delivering misinformation on something, or because you don't actually understand the issues. And it's fine if you don't want to. Like, if you don't have an interest in these sorts of things, then don't interfere. Don't get involved. And if Harry and Meghan are not willing to put in the work and the time and the effort to actually make a difference in any of the initiatives they proclaim to care about, like, for example, digital safety and stuff, if they don't actually care about it enough to put in the work, then they're not going to be impactful anyway, and people aren't going to respect what they say. And Meghan launching an Instagram, revenue stream for herself now undermines that cause more than anything. Because how can anybody take Harry and Meghan's position on, for example, meta and fact-checking, or social media needing more things to make it safer? How can anybody take Harry and Meghan's position on that stuff seriously when Meghan is using Instagram to make money and make posts, which makes Instagram money? For every dollar that Meghan makes off Instagram, Instagram is making 5. She's getting a portion of it. They're making money off of her. And so, in a way, she's supporting the very organization that she claims is problematic. I agree completely that the chaos of Harry and Meghan's approach makes it hard to respect them or really drum up any degree of interest in anything, because it feels like they're just kind of dabbling in stuff at their whim. But it also undermines any more serious stuff that they try to do, because it's like, do you even know what you're talking about? Do you even realize the hypocrisy that you have been showing the public? But what do you think? Thank you for joining me for today's video. I cannot wait to read your thoughts in the comment section. I hope you have a happy day ahead, and I will see you next time. Bye!